how do I know if I'm getting a lowball settlement offer on my workers' compensation case? How do I know what my case is actually worth? So it's a great question. And it really depends on what stage your case is at in order to really have the ability to evaluate the value of your case. Things like average weekly wage, level of disability, formal findings like that really help you have a foundation to use to determine what your case value is worth. But that being said, if you haven't reached that point yet and you are ready to settle, it's not to say that you can't use those as negotiating tools and bargaining chips. You have proof that your average weekly wage is a very high number and the insurance company might be trying to refute that and push it down and make it a lower number. That's a negotiation tool that you're going to use to get the value of your case up. How do you really know what your full case value is worth? I mean, one good place to look is New York State Workers' Compensation Board website, and there are the medical treatment guidelines for determining permanent impairment, which you can use, and it walks you through the same way I would walk a doctor through a permanency evaluation, and you kind of would know what your limitations are, and you could use that to help form a framework of what your case value would be. But like I said before, how do I know what my case is worth, and what happens if I'm getting lowballed? Find a lawyer who knows what they're doing and knows the workers' compensation law here in New York State, because we know where the value lies and we know where the value doesn't lie. I mean, I had a conversation earlier today with a client, a long-term client, and he was saying, what about my lost time and my permanent disability? Well, it's a schedule case, so you don't really get both. You get paid for your lost time while you're out of work, you get paid for your permanent disability or your scheduled loss of use at the end, but when you get that schedule payment, they take credit for your lost time payment, so you don't really get both. These are important things that you need to discuss, and you might not know what the ins and the outs of the law are here, and your lawyer will. So find a New York workers' compensation attorney or an attorney in your area that really knows the law. Will the first offer I get to settle my case always be a low offer? Should I settle if it seems reasonable? Listen, it happens a lot that an insurance company will throw out the first offer, throw out the first pitch, and give you a decent offer, especially if they know you have a legitimate, reliable attorney. Maybe they're not going to try to lowball you because they know it's just going to be a waste of time and money. Sometimes you do get reasonable offers, and if you feel that your initial offer is reasonable, go speak to your lawyer. Say, look, this is how I feel. I think this might be decent. Tell me what you think, and have a dialogue with your lawyer. If it's a lowball offer, let your lawyer tell you it's a lowball offer. Let him tell you why. Let him tell you where he sees value in your case, where he sees the potential to add on some dollar signs. Listen, the insurance company throws out that first offer, and it's a baited hook. They want you to take the bait and be done with the case. And the quicker you settle, the more money they save over the long term, because litigation costs and payment for lost time and treatment and all those things disappear once the case gets settled. So they want to try to entice you to settle the case quickly, and they want to try to save as much money as possible. So yes, sometimes that initial offer will be a little low, but it could be reasonable because they do understand the quicker they settle, the more money they save. So if you have a gut instinct as to the value of a settlement and whether it's a good value, talk to your lawyer. Now, what happens if I reject a settlement offer on my comp case because it's too low? If you reject a settlement offer because it's too low, generally speaking, nothing happens. Your lawyer will continue to negotiate. Some people say, I don't want to settle at all right now. Put it on the side burner. And I'll tell the insurance company that. And you know, sometimes even that one response will get the insurance company to throw more money. But again, those tactical timing techniques are something that your lawyer is probably well versed in. That's why you want to get a lawyer who really knows what they're doing. You want to strike when the iron's hot. What if every settlement offer I get from the insurance company is low, and can I take them to court for a better outcome? So this is exactly the scenario I was talking about just a few moments ago. We were trying to work out a settlement. They put a lot of conditions on their settlement offer that they made. Whatever it was, the terms of that settlement offer and the back and forth negotiations were not something that we felt was acceptable. It was too low. So what did we do? We took them to court for a better outcome, and we got the better outcome. So that's exactly what you do. You want to drive that car forward. You want to do things the way they're supposed to be done while also maintaining that opportunity to negotiate a settlement, so that as you push your case forward and you drive it forward and you do the things that the judge and the law wants you to do, work search, producing medical, deposing doctors, you want to drive that case forward with full force while also kind of keeping an ear open to have your negotiations to try to resolve the case. And if you do get something worked out as you're pushing your case down the road, you take that exit and you close the case. So that's how you should always proceed to get the best possible outcome. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe. I'm here to help. Telling me that you like me makes me feel good. So hit the like button. When is the best time to settle my workers' compensation case for a fair amount? Aside from timing, do I have any other leverage when negotiating? So you want to time it so that there's still meat on the bone, but it's meat that you might not be interested in. You don't want to wait till all of your treatment's exhausted and everything's done and everything's been paid out and you've gotten your permanent partial disability. You know, you were found to have a moderate, a 50% permanent partial disability, and you got paid for 300 weeks. And at the 295th week, you decide you want to settle. There's no meat left on the bone. You want to settle when the time is right and there's enough there to give your case some good value and get your case settled. And that's why it's important to have a lawyer who really knows what they're doing. You really want to make sure your lawyer understands how permanency works, schedule loss work, how the medical authorization process works, to try to just strike while the iron's hot. And you want to get a lawyer who really knows what they're doing. Does declining surgery negatively affect the settlement process? You know, surgery surgeries for the most part are expensive. And if an insurance company can avoid the expense of a surgery, that makes them happy, and that might make them more inclined to settle for value. You could say, look, my client doesn't want to have this $20,000 or $30,000 or $10,000 surgery, or he's willing to consider not having the surgery if we could settle for a good amount. So instead of paying 20 grand to the doctors and the hospitals and everything, plus the cost of litigation, add another 10 or 12,000 to the value of the settlement and we'll get this thing closed. And sometimes you could do very well under that set of circumstances. So declining surgery, if you're choosing not to have surgery, it's a very good time to negotiate a settlement, and it should not negatively affect the settlement process. If you have any questions, always feel free to give me a call. 212-406-8989. As you know, I am Rex Sikofsky, and I am here to help. Folks, have a wonderful rest of your week. Call me, 212-406-8989. Ask me your question, and have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye-bye.